All right, here is the long-awaited tutorial on the border I did for my dream blanket. First, you start with a slip knot, and then you enter it in the corner stitch. Now, the corner stitch is going to have 3 single crochets in that one stitch. For the first round, we are going to do a single crochet border all the way around the project. There you see the 3 single crochets in the corner. Then what you are going to do is put 1 single crochet in each of those stitches across the side. And you will do this all the way around. So 1 single crochet in each stitch along the sides and 3 single crochets in the corners. All right, we're at our last stitch, so you're going to put a single crochet in that stitch, and then you're going to slip stitch into that first stitch. So let's begin the rib stitch portion of the border. For the sample, I am doing 5 stitches in my rib stitch. So what you're going to do is to chain 5 plus 1, the turning chain. 4, 5, and a turning chain. Then you're going to skip that first chain and single crochet all the way back down to the first. The corners are going to be worked a little bit differently than the sides to account for the turn around the corner. So we're going to slip stitch in that same first stitch. Essentially, we're going to work 2 rounds in each stitch of the corner. After you slip stitch, you're going to turn your work. You're going to want to skip that first slip stitch and work into the back loops only. Now you can do the last stitch into the back loops if that's the look you prefer, but what I like to do is go through both loops for that very last stitch to make it nice and uniform. Then you chain 1 and turn your work. Now remember, I like to go under both loops on that first stitch, so I'm going to go under both loops, single crochet, and for the rest of the stitches, I'm going to be working in the back loops only. Now that we are finished working 2 rounds in that first corner stitch, we're going to work into that second corner stitch and repeat the process. So this is the first round, you chain 1, turn, skip that first chain, and then work in the back loops only. Work your last stitch how you prefer, chain 1 and turn. You can work your way back down the same way we've been doing it. So go into the first stitch, then work your way down using the back loops only. I like to pull my work apart to see how many stitches I've worked in each corner stitch. See, we've only worked once through this stitch, so I'm going to work that stitch again. Slip stitch and turn your work. Work those 5 stitches the same way that we have been doing it. And now you're ready for your last corner stitch. Work your slip stitch into the last corner stitch, turn your work, and once again, work it the same way. So sometimes I don't remember how many stitches I've worked in each corner stitch, so I'll pull my work apart and count. I only worked 1 in that stitch, so let's add another round on that last corner stitch. Once again, work it the same way that we have been doing. Okay, now that we are completely done with the corners, I will show you how to work the sides. You're going to want to slip stitch in that next stitch to close that row. Then into the next stitch, you're going to want to slip stitch it to bring that next row up. So it kind of works as a chain one. Now, since we did 2 slip stitches, you're going to want to skip those first 2 slip stitches and work into the first stitch. I always like to pull my work apart and count so it's easier to see. And again, work into the back loops until the end and work your last stitch, chain 1 and turn. We're going to work our way back how we have been. And once you get back down, you're going to want to slip stitch to bring up that row again. That finishes that row. Then slip stitch into the next to bring up the other row and turn. And then you literally just continue this all the way back down until you get to the corner. And remember, the corner stitches, those 3 corner stitches, are worked twice. The side stitches are worked once. So go ahead and work all the way around your piece, and then I will meet you back and I'll show you how to close up the rib stitch border. All right, so we worked our last row. What I like to do is slip stitch into that first stitch we worked in. Then you'll chain 1 and cut your yarn. Make sure you leave enough yarn so you can sew it up. Now all that you have left is just to join them. What I like to do is whip stitch it all the way up, and I do work in the back loops until I get to that last stitch and I work through both of them. I do like to insert my needle back into that first loop to give it a little bit extra strength. And there you have it, the rib stitch border. I really hope that helped. I know it can be a little bit confusing and it's a long video, but I'm glad you stuck around this long. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions. Thanks for watching.